This midweek report video was brought to you by Simple Lubes. Greenwood. We are back and better than ever. This is the first midweek report for the high school football season. I am Johnathan Graves. I think everybody knows that by now. But I don't think everybody knows the two guys sitting to my left and to my right. On the right, we got none other than Mr. Wildcat himself, the N, the H, and the S, Nate Day Patterson.
What it do, Greenwood?
To my left, we got the guys going to be covering Abbeville Panthers football this season. Also from the NHS, Stephen Miller. Stephen, how you doing?
Doing pretty good.
First of all, we've gone through the Jamboree season. I think we got a good hand of all these teams, so it's time to take a look at more in-depth with some of the games this week. And first up, I think it's the game of the week, guys. Abbeville for you, Stephen, versus 96 for Nate Daddy. First of all, we're going to go to Nate Daddy here. A lot of us didn't get to make the trip to Whitmire, but we did hear about the score and your great report about the Wildcats opening the season with a win, a 43-2 win for the Wildcats. A good game for the Mingo brothers, it sounded like in your report, Nate Daddy. Talk to me a little bit more about that game.
Well, the game itself, for 96, looked outstanding. I mean, don't get me wrong, they played phenomenally. Third quarter, a little shaky, come out after halftime, just not really on the high they should have been with the lead and all. Kind of like, well, we're just going to play now not to lose, as opposed to keep on trying to do what they've been doing. And then Coach Liner finally got in their butts in the fourth quarter, and they tacked on a few more touchdowns. But then again, to say 96 played well, which they really did, their defense played outstanding. But Whitmire's really not a team I could say, well, 96 is this good. Mm-hmm. They're not. I mean, playing a Whitmire team is, they had like 28 people total on their whole entire team.
Right.
So I don't want to say that, well, 96 is this good because they won by this. But Whitmire, I mean, they played well, they played hard, but they're not nowhere close to the caliber teams 96 is going to see all year. Well, maybe like a McCormick or somebody like that. But not to say McCormick's bad or anything, but I mean, just team-wise. But this week against Abbeville, it's going to be a whole another side of the spectrum for them.
And you speaking about not playing up to the level of competition that maybe 96 is going to face most of the year.
Right.
I can go over to this man right here, and what we saw in the Abbeville versus Emerald game, I think we could say the same thing. Abbeville's not going to see the level of competition that Emerald's going to bring. Stephen, we look at the Abbeville Panthers. What did you see from them in the Jamboree against Emerald?
Well, talking with the coach earlier in the season, he asked him about the strengths of this year's football team, and he really said that he didn't really see any, but after watching two of the Jamboree games, Abbeville is a really good team. You know, a lot of people are questioning whether or not they're going to maintain that regular season winning streak. They may not, but they're really strong. They got 3 or 4 guys who can run the football, and defense in the third or fourth quarter is going to take a wear and tear on the defense, because even if you can stop 2 of those guys, you still got 2 other people that can run the ball effectively. Their defense, there was some question about their defense. They only returned 2 starters, but they only gave up 3 points in the 2 Jamborees, and those 3 points came against Greenwood.
Hey, Dan, let's break it down right now. Who's going to win the game and why?
Well, right now, I mean, I'm down 96. We all know this. It's my team. But see Abbeville winning, I mean, it's not going to be the landslide it was last year. I mean, they're sophomore heavy, 96 is. So last year, they were freshmen who were just watching this game from the sideline. So I'm going to think that's going to happen. Well, this year, the sophomores are getting to play, but last year, freshmen watching pretty much the same offense, wear and tear on them. No disrespect, but a little bit bigger, a little bit better Wildcat defense than it is this year.
Yeah.
I think Abbeville wins. I hate to say it, but I think Abbeville does win. But I don't see the blowout. I see 7 or 10 point win.
I mean, there's just so many people that can just run you over. The offensive line is huge. They're much bigger than 96 Wildcats. But from the Wildcat side, I do see some areas where the Panthers can struggle against the Wildcats, especially in the passing game.
I agree. When they spread it out, when the Wildcats have the ability to spread it out and they give Trey Smith time to throw the ball, they can play with anybody.
Yeah. They
can. But when he has to scramble and try to make decisions, that's where his ball gets too much air under it, or he short arms a pass because there's so much pressure. He starts getting excited And I mean, he's got the player there open, but he gets excited with the pressure, so he's forced to throw it long, throw it short, throw it left, throw it right, as opposed to he's sitting back in the pocket, calm and collect, being able to read the defense and hitting that open man.
Steven, when you look at the game, we got Nate Daddy's reaction, what he sees. When you look at 96 versus Abbeville, who do you see coming out and why?
Again, I agree with Nate Daddy. I'm a 96 alma mater too. So I definitely agree that with Nate that that Abbeville is going to come up with the win against 96. I do see it being a close game, maybe in the first half. But I definitely see an Abbeville coming out on top because I think their offense and their running backs are too strong. So I'm definitely say that Abbeville will come out with the win.
See, I think we're all in agreement. This is probably going to be one of the first times all season that all three of us are in agreement. I just think that Abbeville they just got too much. They can, over the course of a 4-quarter game, we're not talking jamboree anymore, this is a course of a 4-quarter game, the wear, the tear, they can just keep pounding you. And I don't think 96 has the defensive line or the offensive line to just stay up with the big physical, players up front for Abbeville. It'll be a close game just because I'm not sure about the Abbeville pass defense,
Right.
And 96's speed can definitely hang with Abbeville. Let's move on, guys. Greenwood versus Emerald. This could be the last dance, the last hurrah. Not sure I'm really going to miss it. Is it going to be any different this year, Steven?
I'm afraid not. I think hands down Greenwood's going to win. But also I think Emerald is a young team. They got a new coach, the new plays. So I definitely think Emerald can really gain a lot from this as they go into region play. But again, I think Greenwood's going to take it.
Nate Day, when you look at Emerald, any chance to beat Greenwood, any chance to hang with them for maybe a half?
Well, as we all know, last year my prediction was for Emerald to finally get that upset. And sorry, Emerald, but it ain't happening this year. Not with the defense Greenwood has. No disrespect to Emerald, but it just ain't gonna happen.
Right.
You say there's been a 30-point margin. I hate to say it, but I believe it's gonna be way more than that this year.
Any predictions on what the score might be? Are they going to even keep it close?
No, I believe 49-6. That is if Emerald scores in the fourth quarter.
I say Greenwood wins by 4 or 5 touchdowns.
Wow. I want to go a 30-10 score. Last game on the slate, guys. Ware Shoals versus Saluda. Steven, when you look at Ware Shoals versus Saluda, what do you see on the Saluda side from watching them against Greenwood?
I did watch the Ware Shoals and Newberry game, and Ware Shoals played Newberry close. And if I had to predict who's going to win this game, I would say that Ware Shoals is going to sneak by Saluda and beat them on Friday night.
All right. Nate Daddy, when you look at Saluda versus Ware Shoals, what do you see?
Well, I see two teams coming back. Well, not really rebuilding, but two teams that have just not quite hit that peak yet. Ware Shoals last year, I thought they had their peak. This year, they're not as good as they were last year. Still have a lot of athletes. Still run that wing tee or wing or whatever Hornet stuff is down yonder. They run it well. I'll give them that. They run it and they run it great. But Saluda, I heard, played fairly decent against Greenwood. I mean, nothing you wouldn't expect in a jamboree against Greenwood, losing as well as they did. But I see, like Steven said, I do see Ware Shoals winning, but I would see like a 16-14 game. Ware Shoals goes for 2-point conversion both times, gets to 16, and the Saluda gets just to kick the field goal. So I see like a 2-3 point win for Ware Shoals.
I think that Ware Shoals will win just because they run the double wing. They've got a system in place. Jake Amek, he's a good quarterback, a good senior quarterback. And then they've replaced Lance Richardson. They've replaced Hawthorne with some new characters, a Nick Davis, a Chris Suber, a Decarius Bussey, all very good players. And then the defense is very stout up front with Desmond Spikes and also Antonio Hammonds. My prediction of the score is 17-14 score. Well, that's the wrap-up right here, guys. For Steven Miller, Nate Daddy Patterson, this has been the Midweek Report video. We look forward to doing this more during the season. My name is Johnathan Graves, working with GreenwoodTodaySports.com, and I am out. This Midweek Report video was brought to you by Simple Lubes.